afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. So today we're coming to you because we have been challenged by Two Wild Onions to do a video on the Doe Code. I guess basically what the Doe Code boils down to is just exactly how shady are your does. I seem to have the monopoly on mostly the shadiest animals probably ever born. The current girls we have now, they were all pretty good to me. Two of them delivered with me standing right there. One of them I knew she was going to deliver and pretty much assumed whenever we left her that night that it would happen overnight, so I wasn't overly worried about her. So to get to the really shady animals we've had, we're going to have to go back to the very first doe we ever owned whenever we were just getting started into goats. She was a La Mancha, and she was probably the most hateful goat I've ever encountered in my entire life. I mean, she was like bad enough that she would almost turn you off of goats to a certain extent. Well, we had bred her. We took her over to the neighbor's house and bred her to a Nubian buck. Married girl is the result of this. But so we knew roughly when she was bred, but we just didn't know when she was going to deliver. I was fairly new, so I didn't know all the signs to check for. So whenever I thought she might be getting close towards the end of the actual possible time she could have had a baby, I started really watching her. And I'm like, I mean, I'm all over her. I'm checking her bags. I'm trying to check for ligaments. Didn't do very well. And I was just like super goat stalker. And anyway, I just kept on, and I thought, man, she's gonna do this while I'm here, I'm sure of it. Well, one day I'm sitting at work and Mike calls me and he said, hey, he said, Nanny's about to give birth. He said, babies are coming. If you want to see it, you better hurry up. I literally dropped everything and left work. We live 15 minutes from where I work. And when I pulled up in the driveway, he's standing out here with my goat, whom I have put up with a lot from, and two babies. Missed it. I'm like, really, lady? I have loved you, I have nurtured you, I have cared for you. I am the only reason that you haven't went on down the road. And what's the thanks I get? Exactly. You have your babies without me around. Now, this story is pretty typical for me because we're going to move on outside of the does, man. Every female on this place is shady when it comes to me. Chicks, we put them in the incubator. The day they're set to hatch, day 21, I'll go in there with my little flashlight and I'm looking at them. No. Quail, we hatched out some quail. I sat there all day holding the phone up to this incubator to get a time lapse. Total of 7 hatched. I told Mike, I said, man, that ain't that bad. I've been sitting here all day. I'm fixing to go to bed. 7 quail is okay with me. I got up the next morning, put my little flashlight up there to see if the little babies were dry. I'm gonna say there were probably 50 quail in there. And I'm like, really? Y'all are shady too. The absolute shadiest animal I have ever owned in my entire life, the alpaca. We bought alpacas and all the females were supposed to be bred. There were 7 of them. We had due dates for all of them. And alpacas are kind of crazy in a sense that they can actually hold off their pregnancy for 2 weeks, and the window in which they can deliver is massive. I mean, you're looking at 345 to 405 days. Big window. So, being the nice girl that I am, I was like super stalker in the alpaca world because I knew roughly when these alpacas were bred based off what the previous owner had said. Half of them ended up not even being pregnant. They were like, no. So the first one was actually kind of sad. We were watching her, and I walked out there one morning, and I come back and told everybody, I said, I'm pretty sure she's gonna have her baby tomorrow. Well, we got up the next morning to feed, and Keelan comes running to me, and she's like, Mom, I think Jolie is having her baby. I said, okay. So we get out there, it's 5:30 in the morning, and what had happened, the baby was just had front feet out. So we got everything together that we would need and all that. We had no idea when she went into labor or anything. And we got out there, and me and the oldest daughter, we got our gloves on and lube and everything, and we got the baby pulled out, and he had passed away at some point during the delivery. So I thought that was kind of shady. Had she done that during the day, I probably could have helped her out a little bit more and maybe change that outcome. All right, second one pops up. Getting close to the due date. Now, she was the closest to her delivery date on having a baby. I walk out there, and it was an afternoon feeding time, so it was a little after 4. And I come back and I tell Mike, I said, hey, tomorrow, I said, you need to keep an eye on Cinnamon. I think she's gonna have that baby. If you see something going on, call me and I'll come home. He said, okay. Well, I left. I ended up, I don't know, I think I had to go to church or something. I'm not sure. Church or Walmart, about the only places. I come back home, and I was standing outside talking to Mike, and one of the kids walk out there and glance over, and they said, is that a cria out there? I said, no. I looked again, and right there in the shadow was a little black cria. I said, man, I mean, like, I thought she was gonna have the baby, and I told Mike, watch her tomorrow, she's gonna have that baby. Nope. Negatory. She waited probably until I got out of the driveway, because I wasn't gone very long, and she had the baby. The baby was dry and standing up, walking around by the time I got home. So I didn't appreciate that very much. But the absolute shadiest thing we've ever had is Cinderella. She was one of our alpacas. Her due date come, and I was looking at her, because we had already done this a couple times, so I'm like, I should be a little bit better at the signs. So sure enough, I started watching her. Her due date came, and I thought she was getting real close, like within a couple days. I took 2 weeks leave. You hear me? 2 weeks. This was the middle to the end of May in Arkansas, and I can assure you it is hot. And for 2 weeks, I sat on the hard gravel watching this alpaca. I was watching her stomach for movement. I was watching her back end for what they call an alien bum. Man, all of this was going on. For 2 weeks, we're talking 6-7 hours a day. I sat there and I talked to her. And I just done everything that I could do to make her calm and comfortable, and make sure she wouldn't have to go through that by herself. Because I guess you don't want alpacas to be alone whenever they have babies. So I'm like, I'm gonna take the time off work, and I'm gonna be here for you. That whole 2 weeks that I took off, it ended up being, weekends and everything else. It ended up being like 17 or 18 days I was home watching. No. So I went back to work on that Monday after I'd taken my 2 weeks off, and I was coming home every day checking her. Finally, Thursday, I am sitting in a meeting that I can't walk away from, and my phone starts dinging. It's Mike. Him and both the kids are at home because now we're into June. They're like, what do we do? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of a meeting. I can't leave. So I'm trying to walk them through the processes that an alpaca is going to go through to have a baby, and telling them when to intervene, when not to intervene, how to let it happen. And I'm like, 17, 18 days. I was there for you. June 7th, she had her little baby boy, and I'm just like, come on now. That was rude. I thought that was really rude. And so, I mean, I guess that's how the Doe Code goes around here. I like to think that all my new girls that we have now aren't going to be nearly as shady as some of the animals in the past. We got real high hopes for them. So, we'll see. Not sure how this is all going to work out, but I'm sure in the future videos and stuff, you'll know just how shady my goats are, or whatever else I might decide to get. And I guess at this point, I think we're supposed to nominate 3 other channels to do the Doe Code. And I've been going through my mind on people that I think would do this, that actually have animals. So I think that I'll challenge Homestead Homemaker. I think she has the same mixed breed goats of my little Elle. Then we'll go with Stony Creek Heritage Farm. Now he's real busy. They're moving, got a lot of stuff going on, so if you can't respond, I get it. But he has a massive amount of goats, so he would be cool to hear from. I'm sure there's a strong Doe Code going on at his house. And then I guess the next person right off the top of my head that would have animals around their place, not necessarily does or whatever, I know he's got pigs and stuff, would be Hop Farm, Honest Open Permaculture. So we'll challenge you 3 guys. Hope it all works out. I hope the Doe Code's not strong at y'all's house. Thanks for watching.